Here are 15 of the best Ask Reddit stories for today. I hope you enjoy and remember to subscribe. It really helps us out. We post new videos every day.
Where is the worst place to lose your virginity? I lost mine in a laundromat parking lot. No car, no privacy. Just a parking lot at night. A group of guys pulled up to us with bats and knives, ready to F us up. They thought we broke into their buddy's house. When they realized what we were doing and that we were in our early teens, they looked embarrassed. So did we, apologized and left. We went right back to fucking. Teenagers are horny, man. Water slide, whatever you think you can pull off during the ride, you'll be at the bottom long before you can finish up. Don't even try, unless you're ready to face that consequence. And no, I'm not kidding. I've seen people try that. Not only is it highly impractical and an easy way to hurt yourself, there's just not enough time. An average slide from top to bottom takes about 11 seconds. If you want to accept that challenge, be my guest, but unless your name is Barry Allen, you probably can't pull it off. But hey, prove me wrong. It'd make for a pretty interesting brag story, or not, depending on which part of the story people focus on. I had a friend who lost hers on the lawn of a retirement home. Her friend wasn't too far away, losing hers too. Edit, this was an odd thing to wake up to. For more context, they were in their teens, two couples, walking back from a house party, probably had consumed a fair amount of alcohol, and I guess they decided right time, right place. No senior citizens were harmed in the losing of these virginities. I don't think.
What is the best harmless prank to play in a prank war? Tell him you've switched the contacts in his phone around, but don't actually do it. Have you and a couple of friends go up to a random person, not all at once, maybe 30 seconds apart from each other, and say things like wake up, and you know you're dreaming, right? To top it off, have someone ride past on their bike wearing a banana costume. If he uses a white stick-type deodorant, spread a thin layer of cream cheese over the top of it and wait for him to use it. He will sweat throughout the day and begin to smell like sweaty cheese. Well, there's always the classic throw a mattress in his pool. I hear it takes a crane to get out. Hard-boil their eggs and put them back in the box secretly. Crazy, glue quarters to the laundry room floor. If there is something new, example, coffee machine, printer, put a sticker on there that says voice activated and the company's logo, prepare to watch people talk to a machine and have it do nothing. Set their text tone to a camera sound and text them while they're in a public restroom. A year ago we dumped 2 giant bags of glitter all over my friend's car. He still shows up places with glitter on him. Take all the labels off of all of the canned food in their house. You wanted peas? Too bad, it's ravioli. People who moved to the US from other countries, what is something you've heard about America that turned out to be untrue? That there were water fountains that had Coca-Cola coming out, and it was free to drink, and they had them everywhere. 22 years later I'm still disappointed. Texas isn't just a huge desert with cowboys. Everyone here is not morbidly obese like we're led to believe overseas. I didn't think Americans said bye or goodbye when getting off the phone because they never ever do. In sitcoms or movies. I just started hanging up when the feeling was right. There was only like 2 months left till our move to America, and this one relative said that the water here tasted like Sprite. They told me to never get on the buses or trains in California. It's dangerous. It's filled with crazy people. My friend got mad when I didn't take my shoes off in his house. I thought you weren't supposed to in America. That all Americans are dumb. It's quite the opposite, and I find a lot of people in America are very smart however lack in etiquette. When I first came to America, I thought that everyone had at least 3 to 4 guns. When I was on a train in Greece, a young girl translated for her elderly female companion asking if the streets in America really were paved in gold. As much as I wanted to say of course they are, I told her they were just like the streets in Greece. She was a little surprised and disappointed. If you can't drive/afford a car, you are screwed, mostly true. When I was in Thailand they thought all Americans were rich.
What person do you think could easily become the President of the United States if they decided to run for it? Whomever's keeping Arizona green tea at 99 cents despite inflation around the world. $1.50 Costco hot dog guy for Veep. My favorite story about the Costco hot dogs is that apparently some consultant tried to suggest raising the price and the CEO just looks over to him and asks, "If you raise the price of that hot dog, I'll fucking kill you." Edit. Apparently I misremembered the quote, it was actually more emphatic than mine. Thanks for the corrections, you each get a point. I think it was the owner to the CEO who wanted to change the price of the hot dog. When the CEO asked to increase the dog price, the owner said don't raise the F-King price. What made the popular girl lose their popularity? When I was in 6th grade, one of my classmates brought 90 to school. They were going to go shopping after school. She was the most popular girl in class. At some point during the course of the day the money went missing. Our teacher went right to the superintendent's office right across the hall from our class. This was a super small school. Within minutes they had pulled us all out of class and separated out the boys and the girls. The 5th grade teacher took the girls into the bathroom 3 at a time and strip searched them. And the superintendent handled all of us boys in the boys' bathroom. They didn't find anything. The cops showed up a few hours later and interviewed all of us one by one and still found nothing. A few weeks later, it got out that she forgot to bring the money to school. And it was home in her bedroom the whole time. Despite us being in a rural area and the next nearest school being 30 miles away. The backlash was bad enough that her parents pulled her out of school and sent her to the next town over. Mountain of lawsuits came down on the superintendent for strip searching kids because it is considered as assault.
What is something your therapist said that sticks with you to this day? If you're finding it difficult to put everything in your head down on paper because it's too much, imagine how heavy it must be to carry that around 24/7. I've journaled during my darkest times ever since then. She was right. What was adaptive then is maladaptive now. Basically, the tools you use to survive trauma as a kid aren't necessarily healthy tools as an adult. Gotta learn new skills and use better tools. Shit is warm, meaning people will happily sit in a bad situation because it's comfortable and familiar, even if it's shit. That anything you tell other people is a choice. You don't have to explain yourself or feel like you have to tell anyone anything. It really just helped me as an adult with feeling like I had to tell my mom certain things, but more telling her when I wanted to. What existed when you were a kid that doesn't exist now? Front bench seats in a car, restaurant smoking sections, phone books. Every once in a while one would just show up at our front door. Internet that came on a disc. 9 planets. Circuit City. Getting off the phone so someone can use the internet. Ha. Waiting all night to record your favorite song on cassette tape. Bugs. The Twin Towers. Those rusty, metal merry-go-rounds at the park that killed almost all of us at one point. Buying comic books off the newsstand or at the grocery store. I'd probably still buy Spider-Man comics if I could get them at the same place as my milk, cheese and bread. Gas less than $1 a gallon. Kmart cafeteria. Blockbuster. Videotapes. 8-track tapes and rotary dial phones. The Crocodile Hunter. Proper video game arcades packed wall to wall with machines, dark, and loud rock music playing. Damn, I miss those. A lot more frogs. Dramatic difference over the last 40 years. Ashtrays in cars. Older men of Reddit. What is something that you see the younger generation do that gives you hope? They rather quit than take shit from their employers. Moving away from the stupid trend of throw it away and buy another one, consumerism that we've had for 40 years. The Zoomers take less bullshit from bosses. While I am not really older, and this is not really a positive trait, I think that younger people instantly fact-checking literally everything they so much as vaguely disagree with is kinda hopeful. I'm a non-traditional undergrad student, 29-year-old working on my bachelor's, and I interact with students that are a literal decade younger than I am on a daily basis, and I am amazed at how brilliant, hardworking, and driven some of my peers are. Even if I have a decade of life experience over most of my peers, there's something I still learn from them every single day. I was nowhere near mature, disciplined, or introspective as they are when I was their age. It really fills me with hope. The way they voted last week. Enthused for them now. How would you still have fun going out without consuming any alcohol? Went to a couple bars last night with a friend who has been sober for a few years. We drank plain seltzer and just chatted, socialized with a bunch of out-of-towners and acted silly on the dance floor. We even did a couple rounds of shots with others that consisted of just pineapple juice and grenadine. It's the people that make the fun, not the alcohol. It probably helps that we're a little older too, so there is no peer pressure to drink. It just is. I haven't had alcohol in 15 years because it just makes me sick, and I had a blast in my 20s without any alcohol. Going out now, I get a soda and it's still fun. I think you just soak up the vibe of your friends and just act like a fool with them. Then you can recap it all to them the next day. Lol. Probably not quite the answer you're looking for, but I used to have a glass of grocery store wine while preparing dinner, and I replaced it with a can of San Pellegrino Essenza, Memendi, or the sparkling drink. It tastes pretty good. It's a treat for me while I'm doing a chore and I'm not tipsy on a work night. Any health-related activity that you wished you had started sooner? Physical or mental? Getting a sleep study and using a CPAP at age 52. My BP plunged, I stopped needing naps, and my mind could be creative again. In my sleep study I had 86 mini wake-ups. I remembered none of them. Weight training. Yoga, more yoga. Living in a walkable neighborhood. Still have the pants I needed going door to door via car. The usual. Eat more green vegetables and less fat, sugar, and carbs. Don't overeat. Exercise more. It's much easier to maintain healthy habits than to break unhealthy habits. Take time for your own mental health and happiness. It's more important than you realize. Stop smoking. Flossing teeth daily or even twice daily. Mindfulness practice. I've been practicing only 2 years, but I can see how it helps me sleep, and it would have been even more helpful before retirement. Non-Americans of Reddit, who is the most famous person from your country? Arnold Schwarzenegger. Of the ones still alive, that is. That low-cost cosplay dude. Pedro Pascal. A. Dracula. You see, There was this failed art student, Mads Mikkelsen, I would guess. Albert Einstein, Van Gogh, Kimi Räikkönen? Or Simo Häyhä, Mia Khalifa, Cristiano Ronaldo, Steve Irwin, Bjork, and it's not even a competition. Her dad likes all my Facebook posts. Probably Pele. Barbara Palvin alive. Ferenc Puskas not so alive. Nelson Mandela. I think Shakira is the most famous. It should be James Clerk Maxwell, but it's Sean Connery. X200B edit, it's Clerk not Clark. Leonardo da Vinci. Peter Sagan. Manny Pacquiao. Ronnie fucking Pickering edit. Thanks for the awards. Shall we have a bare knuckle fight then? What are some life hacks that you clearly benefited from? Walk as much as possible while you're still young. The more you do, the more people expect from you. Don't let people's expectations overwhelm you or stress you out. Don't speak badly about others behind their back. It's just not good form. Think about the last time you heard another doing it. Didn't you think, I wonder what they say about me when I'm not around? Be bold in sticking up for yourself and for others. The world will not spin off its axis if you piss someone off. The less people in your life, the less drama. It's way smarter to get approved for the longest mortgage you can, 30 years, 40 years, whatever, and pay it aggressively and take comfort that you can make lower payments if needed. My wife and I paid our 30-year mortgage in 16 years this way, knowing full well we could opt for lower payments if our finances changed. Learn to regulate self-criticism. There's a difference between dropping a pizza on a rug 1 and running someone over cause you're drunk 100. Rate the error mistake from 1 to 100. Apply fair criticism. Vow not to repeat X and move on. What is a show you hate, that everyone loves? Grey's Unlucky. Can one hospital be? I wouldn't say I hate it, but I lost interest in The Walking Dead pretty early on. It was just so repetitive after a while. Crime procedurals. Every fucking show is the same. All of them. You're cast the leader who knows it all, the quirky lab tech, the tough cop who the leader forms a romantic connection with. The goes against the rules renegade tech, the newbie. Bachelor, Bachelorette, Real Housewives, The View, Dancing with the Stars, sports talk shows. 13 Reasons Why. Just did not want to watch season 2. Masked Singer. Everyone just acts so cringe on the show, especially the judges or whatever they are. The Kardashians. The Bachelor, Bachelorette. What is the appeal of watching a bunch of the opposite sex basically lying, cheating, and stealing for a random stranger? I don't get it. Grey's Anatomy. Wife loves it, I loathe it. Which kids' cartoon had the catchiest theme song ever? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Heroes in a Half Power. Rescue Rangers and Darkwing Duck were great. Teen Titans, Pinky and the Brain. My knee-jerk response was Thundercats. Guess we're going with that one. DuckTales. Animaniacs. Doug. Arthur. Kim Possible. Gravity Falls. Phineas and Ferb. Pokémon. Tailspin. The Flintstones. X-Men. Doesn't even have words. Inspector Gadget. Sorry, but since the 1960s Spider-Man has them all beat. Shout out to DuckTales. Rescue Rangers. Gummy Bears, bouncing here and there and everywhere. Hey Arnold. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Scooby-Doo. X-Men. Roger Ramjet. He's our man, hero of our nation for his adventures. Just be sure to stay tuned to this station. Fraggle Rock. What crazy person is history was right the whole time? The Australian doctor who fought decades of medical belief that stress spicy foods caused ulcers by drinking a solution containing bacteria to sicken himself with ulcers, which he then cured with a treatment of simple antibiotics. His work began in 1981, and 24 years later, he and his research partner won the Nobel Prize in Medicine. The Dingo Ate My Baby Lady. Courtney Love told the world about Harvey Weinstein a decade ago. Alfred Wegener figured out continental drift in 1912. But nobody would buy it until research in oceanography and geology proved it in the early 1960s. What pseudo-fact do you wish people would stop using? Fun fact: pseudo-facts were originally called factoids because they're not facts but resemble facts, and therefore factoid. Factoid is now used to describe trivial facts. Cracking your knuckles causes arthritis. Einstein failed math. No, he mastered calculus by the time he was in middle school. That we eat 8 spiders a year. The Great Wall of China can be seen from space. Parents used to tell me that it's illegal to drive with the inside lights on in the car. Can't believe I believed that shit until I was like 17. Big feet, big penis. I've disappointed so many. They smile when I take off my shoes and sigh when I take off my pants. We only use 10 of our brain. The whole frogs will slowly boil without noticing thing.